I wanted to broadcast the story of Patent Lover, but I was struggling with how to create the content. So, to solve this problem, I went to the library. That's because the library has many books that help in coming up with a solution principle. When I borrowed and read some of these books, they were indeed very helpful. After borrowing the books, I went to the parking lot. I noticed a charging station there. Since I was currently working on deriving solutions related to charging facilities, I looked at the charging station closely. The station had a charging area where electric cars can park and charge, and in front of the area, there was a charger connected by a cable. Oops. Upon closer inspection, the car was already fully charged. It seems the owner is just using the spot for parking now. Even though there is existing technology for charging reservation services, it seems like it's still far from being applied to public facilities like libraries. I thought deeply about other places where charging stations are used, besides public institutions like libraries. Then I realized that my apartment complex and highway rest stops are also places with charging stations. So, I expanded my investigation to apartments and highway rest stops to understand the current situation of charging reservation services. First, let's take a look at the charging reservation service in apartments. Since the rates are cheaper at night than during the day, from the user's perspective, charging at night allows them to save on costs. From a societal perspective, this also improves the efficiency of electricity usage. For example, let's use an office worker who goes to work at 8 a.m. and comes home at 6 p.m. The user can use an app to reserve the discounted charging time from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. in advance. When the user comes home at 6 p.m., they park their electric car at the charging station and connect the charger to their car. However, the charging facility doesn't start charging at 7 p.m. when the charger is connected, but begins charging after 10 p.m. when the discounted rate kicks in. Because of this charging reservation service, the user doesn't have to go back down in the middle of the night to connect the charger, and they can simply take the fully charged car in the morning and leave for work at 8 a.m. If we display this as a timetable, it would look like this. Now, don't you see a problem when you look at the timetable? Yes, that's right. From 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., and from the time the charging is completed until 8 a.m., no one else can use the charging station. Other users may feel this service is very unfair because they are unable to use the charging station during those times. The usage efficiency of the charging facility can also drop significantly. Additionally, when looking at user feedback, some people have mentioned that even though they had a reservation, they couldn't charge their car because another car was parked in the charging spot for too long. It's not like the person left their car there on purpose. Maybe something urgent came up, or they simply forgot. Anyway, disputes over charging like this often occur in apartment complexes. It's also said that security guards unfairly bear the brunt of complaints in these disputes. What fault do the guards have in this? Even though this issue might be overlooked for now, imagine when electric cars become more widespread in the future. It's expected that complaints about monopolizing the charging stations will only grow stronger. Now, let me explain the charging reservation service at highway rest stops. Users can make a charging reservation through the app when they are within 1 kilometer of the charging facility. After reserving a spot, they must connect their electric car to the charger within the set time, like 5 or 10 minutes. The app generates a message reminding the user to charge within the specified time, and if they don't, it generates a message notifying them that the reservation has been cancelled. Once the car starts charging and charging is completed, a message is generated to inform the user. If the user does not move their car within the set time after charging, another message is generated, notifying them that a fee will be charged for overstaying. The idea is that by notifying users about fees for overstaying, they are encouraged to quickly move their car, allowing others to use the charging service without delays. Looking through user feedback, some people have reported frustrating situations where their reservation was cancelled because the car in front didn't move after completing its charge. They questioned whether this is really a service for users. That's true. But let's also consider the perspective of the person who was late in moving their car. While using the service, a user might need to eat a meal, make a quick restroom stop, or take an important phone call. In these urgent situations, they might not be able to move their car right away. But is it really fair to charge a fee in such cases? Should users always be anxious about these fees while using the service? If someone rushes to move their car and an accident happens, who will be responsible? Now, if we apply the valet parking solution that I introduced in the first broadcast, many of the issues we've discussed could be addressed. For example, applying valet parking in apartment complexes could eliminate the problem of cars being left too long, reduce charging disputes, and improve both the efficiency of electricity usage and the utilization of charging facilities. It would also prevent security guards from being unfairly blamed for charging disputes. However, I believe that it's not enough to rely solely on this solution to maintain order. The reason is that while some people may use valet parking, others might prefer to charge their cars themselves to avoid paying valet fees. This means we need to establish a charging order that accommodates both those who use valet parking and those who prefer to charge their cars directly. Through this, I've uncovered several problems related to charging reservations. I thought deeply about how to solve the issues of disorder and safety in charging reservations. Then suddenly, I remembered the barrier at the entrance to parking lots. In that moment, inspiration struck me. Ah, that's it. The barrier. If each charging area had a barrier, the charging service could be organized in an orderly manner. For example, when the spot is reserved, the barrier can stay closed, and it would only open for the reserved vehicle, not for unreserved ones. If the reserved car doesn't arrive within a certain time, the barrier could open, allowing non-reserved cars to use the spot. During charging, the barrier could remain closed, and after charging is complete, the barrier would open following proper procedures, which could help prevent charging-related accidents. Oh, I just had another burst of inspiration. In the second broadcast, I talked about a charging facility equipped with firefighting and car wash functions as a solution. Now, if we apply the barrier function in this way, we could offer an orderly charging reservation service and provide a safer charging environment at facilities equipped with firefighting and car wash functions. In the field of patents, there's a system that recognizes patentability not only for original functions but also for new functions and effects. If those functions and effects are organic and integrated, patentability can be recognized more easily. So, have you ever seen a barrier used as a function of charging reservation to provide a combined service of valet parking and direct charging? Have you seen a barrier used as a function to enforce proper charging procedures and prevent charging accidents? Have you seen a barrier used to prevent water splashing during a car wash, thus improving washing efficiency? Or have you seen a barrier used as a water tank function in case of fire, allowing for quick fire suppression? As far as I know, barriers have not yet been utilized with such complex functions and effects. That's why I now feel confident that this solution principle could be patented. In order to determine whether valet parking and barriers can properly provide the charging reservation service to people, I first considered the existing valet parking services. To use valet parking, the user must hand over the car key to the manager, and the manager will perform their duty after receiving the key. Later, the manager must return the key to the user. This creates the inconvenience of the user and manager having to meet in person just to exchange the key. To solve this problem, I thought from the user's perspective when receiving the charging reservation service. Some may choose valet parking for convenience, while others may prefer to charge the car themselves. Additionally, there could be situations where someone charges their car themselves but later needs valet parking to retrieve it due to an urgent situation. So we need something that can accommodate all these different scenarios. As I was thinking about these issues, inspiration suddenly struck. Yes, a keybox. If there were a keybox with authentication methods like a password or QR code, we could provide services tailored to each specific situation. By installing keyboxes with authentication systems at different locations, waiting areas before charging, charging areas, and waiting areas after charging, we could offer flexible services for all situations. Let's consider the keybox's features. Once charging is complete, the owner or manager can disconnect the charger from the car and return the charger to its original position. Afterward, they would retrieve the key from the keybox, and the previously closed barrier would open. If this process is not followed, the car could potentially be moved without disconnecting the charger. Thus, the organic relationship between the keybox and barrier serves as a procedural safety function, preventing accidents through this process. Now, let's apply another scenario. A car owner may charge their vehicle themselves and, upon completion, move their car. But what if an urgent situation arises? With a keybox in place, valet parking services can step in. In the past, if a car was left in place too long, the owner would face a fine, and users waiting behind them would experience delays. However, with this new solution principle, if the car owner has an urgent matter, the manager can retrieve the key from the keybox and move the car, charging a valet parking fee instead of a penalty. Isn't that much more reasonable? Meanwhile, the next user can receive the charging service without delay. As you can see, by organizing the solution principle into 3 key elements, I filed 2 separate patents, one for the barrier technology and one for the keybox. Since it hasn't been long since I filed the patents, I haven't yet received any examination results. So for now, I don't have an episode to share about the verification process through patent examination. I'll share more on that when I have the chance in the future.